We'll be drinking strictly Jameson and Guinness for the next week and a half. And the party has begun.
If you haven't already,
put AA Ron on the camera. She'll run away.
This is one of our production members.
AA Ron is in the house. She got her little shot.
Technical assistant.
Cheers. Nice.
We've got Egghead, Wayne Head, my dad,
Papa Wayne,
the owner of WJVS. We are now on WJVS radio. Okay, that is something to celebrate. I don't know what it means entirely, but my father called me about it, so therefore we're going to celebrate.
You add a W, it's a win. You know what I'm saying? That's not how it works.
We're also celebrating my gained weight, baby. I gained a pound. I am 112, baby. I not only maintain and sustain, but I'm gaining. You see what I did?
Like the old.
I got a gain.
like the 90s R&B group. 112.
What?
112 the group?
Oh yeah.
Maybe that's 2000s.
All right.
No, we're really 90s.
I wasn't
late
a
90s.
big fan.
Yeah.
But are we live? Welcome to Love. Thing of all.
We are going to tackle the idea that with love comes fear.
Fear of love.
Fear of love. Fear of losing the feeling of love.
Fear of letting go in love.
Yes. There are lots of levels of fear.
Relinquishing your control.
And isn't that interesting? Because it's almost like a weird yang to the yin, you know? You know what I'm saying? It's that balance. Like people think it's just all love. It's all love. But it comes with a lot of different emotions. You know what I'm saying?
It does.
Yeah.
Vulnerability is scary.
So, and it's scary from the beginning. It's scary when you first, want to ask the girl. No, that's yours. That's yours. When you first want to
stop feeding production. They'll keep coming back.
There are vagrants outside of our office right now, demanding that we get them drunk. Somebody give me a police officer. Wait, he's both. No.
He's gonna put us out in the cold one day.
All right. So even when you ask a girl to go out or for a phone number, there's fear there. You know what I'm saying?
When you accept, as a woman, when you accept, like, hey, yeah, you can have my number, there's fear in what's coming after that.
Yeah. And then all the way to when you are fully settled in with a full family, there's always a bit of fear.
Yes.
And it's not maybe the kind of fear for me at this point about like worrying about she's gonna leave me and I'm gonna be alone in the streets in a ditch. It's like I'm fear like for her health. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like pregnancy was scary. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Childbirth is scary.
Wait, for me?
Yeah.
When I got married,
I
was, even though I knew what I was doing, even though we had been together for so long, when I stood in front of him to say our vows,
that scared you, huh?
Was terrified.
Why?
There was so many thoughts going on in my head, like, oh my God, am I making the right decision? Am I old enough to be doing this? Am I smart enough? Like, is he the right guy? Even though I was heavily pregnant, having contractions in a wedding gown in front of my family and his family, I was terrified.
So at what point in your, let's say specifically with Ish, was fear at its highest? Where was maximum fear? Like, oh boy.
It was 2 times.
Okay.
So the first time, all right, if mama and daddy don't listen, because it is what it is. My first time of having like super fear. So after I had Journey, I breastfed her, and all women who breastfeed, for the most part, y'all know what I'm talking about. Things ain't sitting the way they was supposed to be sitting, baby.
That was a fear for you, huh?
Yeah, so I had been with her dad, and then when we broke up, one of the biggest fears of mine was allowing another man to see my body post baby, because I had only been with one man having the baby.
Okay.
So I'm like,
I can dig that. So
when Ishmael and I started dating and the intimacy thing came up, I was terrified. I was like, what if he doesn't like what he sees? What if he's not attracted to me? Like, what if I don't know what I'm doing. Like I was terrified. Like I felt so inadequate because of the changes that the baby did to my body.
So that was a fear. Okay.
I was like, it brought me to tears.
Wow.
That's how terrified I was.
I see. That's a perspective that a dude would never have.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
So that was the first
That's
one.
a whole conversation in itself, but go ahead.
And then the second one was when we were pregnant with the twins and the doctors came to my husband and said to him, if we had to choose between the babies and your wife, who would you choose? And I was terrified because I know he would choose me, but I was terrified of how bad he would hurt for losing his babies. And I didn't want to deal with none of that. And him having to deal with that stress scared the crap out of me.
No, that's terrifying. That's interesting. I mean, I think I'm sort of the spoiled brat in this situation.
You are the spoiled brat always.
So I mean,
in every situation.
I haven't the main fears that I've had to really kind of deal with are the ones that I already really said. Like childbirth was definitely scary for her health. There was no, you know what? I'm thinking back now. So at some point in time, I'm pretty sure it was with Ray. Lisa had really terrible fibroids. Is that what it is?
What?
Fibroids is what it's called, I think. Yeah.
Oh, Lisa.
And so they like they would break down and like actually go away over the course of her pregnancy. But like I distinctly remember, like I'll put it to you this way, and she'll tell you the same thing, that her dealing with the fibroids were more painful than childbirth. So I'm like, you know, there's nothing I can do. I'm just sitting in the bedroom, listening to her just shriek and groan with absolute, you know, horror and pain. And that was scary because no one really knew what was going on at the time. But I think for me, outside of like just the really petty fear of, you know, asking a girl out and being rejected, that kind of stuff, that's probably been the main place where I had to sort of face fear. There was also a time when I wasn't really scared then. Like we had a breakup, you know, before we got engaged, and that sucked, but I wasn't like scared.
Whose fault was it?
It's always my fault. I just assume it's always my fault.
You damn right it was.
So but I haven't really had to deal with that much fear in terms of dating.
But so you told me that you had never planned on getting married.
No, or having kids.
So wasn't there fear when you decided that you were going to get married and have kids?
You know what? It's weird. The only it wasn't like no, maybe like a little bit of angst, but not like fear. And I'm not saying this
why didn't you want to get married and have kids? Weren't you fearful of whatever?
No, it wasn't fearful. It was just knowing that I didn't want to be miserable. That's all. Like, why would I do that? I don't want to be miserable. So it wasn't a fear of being miserable. It's like, I'm not going to make that decision to be miserable. Like, I'm not scared. I'm not like sitting around all day scared about climbing a mountain, because I'm not climbing a damn mountain in the first place.
You was like it ain't gonna be me, baby.
It's just not happening.
It wasn't gonna be me.
But Lisa and I dated for a very long time, and by the time we got to a certain point where it was really on the table, and I had my brother and my dad like, "What are you, stupid?" I was like, it was just like, "You're right." You know what I mean? Like, "What are you, stupid?" Yes, I am. So let me just do what I got to do. Because at the same time, in as much as, and this is, I mean, kind of off topic with specifically fear, but I never intended on like breaking up with Lisa. I was just like, why would we get married? Like, neither of us are particularly religious. And so then why would we bring the government into our relationship to, you know, why would we bring that into our situation when we're just free to do as we want? And at the time, for most of the time when we were dating, neither of us wanted kids. We were looking at people, we still remember, and it's totally different now. We're happy we have kids, but I remember, oh, you'd be such a good dad. And I see all these people with their kids on camera. We both be lying in bed, like, you know, 2:00 in the afternoon, hungover, after eating whatever we wanted to eat for breakfast. Like, why would we bring kids into this situation? This is perfect. I just did whatever I wanted. I'm still sitting in this bed right now why would I let a child ruin any of this glory?
Oh God.
But then at a certain point, it was like, all right, we would be good parents and we both work with kids. But in terms of fear, I really haven't had to contend with a whole lot of it, fortunately. The biggest fear for me, day in and day out, in terms of love, is really my kids. That was the first time I was like, that I really encountered like, oh, that's what fear is. And you have to deal with it. But that's outside of dating. So, it's not something I really had to worry with, but I know a lot of people do have to worry with it. And I think it's a valid conversation that we're trying to have.
What about fear of confrontation with your significant other? Like during dating, before Lisa?
I think that like when you say
always afraid.
No, I wasn't afraid of it. I just don't like it. It's just you avoid
I didn't
it.
like it, but I was always afraid of the reaction because
No,
their reaction dictated my reaction. I was afraid of how I would have to react.
Yeah, no.
Because everybody's different. Like
you know what I have a fear of, actually? What? I'll say this. The only other fear, but I've never had like that is just I don't want to be confronted or confront. It's not like, oh boy, how's this? Oh God, I don't want to do it. It's like,
well, I'm not saying I'm shaking in my boots.
Okay, but I'm saying fear. For me, that's not. There's none of that. It's just like, it's more like I have to. Like, it's like, it's just aggravating. Like, oh my God.
You know what? You're turning into what I was last week when you said my embarrassment.
There's no fear.
Down. Your fear has let everyone down.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry to let you all down.
Yeah, I got nothing.
I was fearful of being cheated on.
Yeah.
I was fearful of being slapped around.
Yeah.
Because like
I think it's much more. I think it's like it's a female thing. That's valid. Like that's legitimate.
No, it's not. I could slap a Negro around.
Yeah, generally I never worried about Lisa slapping me around.
Lisa slap his ass. Slap him.
But the way that I like it. Slap it the way that I like it. You know what I mean? Yeah, you gonna slap my going. Oh, you mad right now? You gonna slap my ass, girl? Ah! Like that kind of slap.
See, that's that light skin shit.
That's that light skin shit, right?
That light skin shit.
Hey baby, I'm feeling kind of crazy tonight.
Ooh,
you want to smack me up a little bit? Ooh. Ooh, that's a little too hard, Lisa. I'm scared.
Oh my God. I had a fear of dating a man like Jay.
Right.
That's what I was fearful of. But
exactly.
I think when people are going into dating and relationships, I think the biggest fear that people have is that they try to place on others is actually within themselves. I think it's a lot of fear of being vulnerable and allowing themselves to be as honest and open as possible.
Sure.
Like I just recently had a conversation with a friend of mine where she said that she knows she loves her partner, but the problem is that she is not willing. She is fearful of giving everything to that person.
That's legitimate.
And I get that. Like it took me hey production, shut it up.
We hear you niggas out there, but go ahead.
You give them one drink, and I'm telling you, they're just like wild cats. You hear them in the alley. So, what was I saying?
Nothing.
See, this is what happened.
No, you were talking about the fear of really giving your all.
Oh yeah, so she was basically like she's afraid of giving her all to that relationship because she didn't want to lose control.
That's fair.
And I was thinking to myself, after having me and Ishmael in the beginning of our relationship went through so much pain and suffering. Like we went through so much together. And by the time we got to marriage, it was like at that point, you've seen every part of me. Literally, you saw my insides as they were cutting me open, cutting your children out. So I felt like, why would I not give my all to this person? I'm not afraid of that.
Yeah, I think like as we have this discussion, like my brother will tell you.
Hi, Jason.
The one part that made me human. My kids made me much more human because I think it's almost like some weird degree of almost like being sociopathic, where I don't have those kinds of fears, and I don't really know why. But it's never been something that I'm contending with. You know what I mean?
So, okay.
When I had kids, it was different. All of a sudden, that's the first time I really understood what scared means. You know what I mean? But never before then. You know what I mean?
Had you when you were dating, did you always give your full self to that person?
Yeah, I mean, no, but
Why?
because I didn't care.
Why?
I just had no interest. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm just a selfish, you know, selfish meanie.
you meanie pants.
Yeah, like not interested. Just like it's just that simple. There's no more or
Maybe
less
it
to
is.
it.
Well, no, it's not a girl thing because there are a lot of guys that
No,
I've
guys
met.
definitely have that
Yeah,
fear for
yeah.
sure. I know guys who are literally like I do think that
Like right now, if me and Ishmael, God forbid, anything were to happen to us, if I had to go back in the dating pool, I would be terrified, baby.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know what to do with myself.
Yeah, no, my like those kinds
You know
of fears.
what? I would do an arranged marriage. My mom and dad would set me up with somebody
Yeah.
because I couldn't deal with
Yeah.
with any of these niggas out here.
Yeah.
I would need
And at
my
a certain
mom and dad
point,
to arrange me a good old man to take care of me and my little children.
no, at a certain point, and I think especially because we're performers, honestly, it's just like
I was fearful.
I don't care about looking stupid. Like, oh well, I look dumb. You know,
Okay,
shove
what
it
about
off.
this? So for me, I was fearful of being with men who were athletic. Like, not that I had never dated an athletic man, but I was fearful of dating an athletic man and marrying one because of the aggression. Because I had dated men who were athletic, who were very aggressive.
Okay.
And also
my fear was being misery. That was my fear. I was afraid of being miserable.
That's a fear.
But wasn't fear. It was like I'm not doing it. Like we already said it. But like that was it. I just.
I don't think fear has to be like. I think it's just like, man, listen.
Like I'm not doing it. I'm not living that way. You know
what's funny? I never thought that I would be miserable in something, but I definitely was fearful of being hurt.
Sure, that's legit. Yeah. I have nothing to
like giving my full self to someone and then being completely brokenhearted.
Yeah.
Because of that person not treating my full self with the.
I think the overwhelming majority of people have had to contend with that fear, male and female. Like, you know, however you cut it, like you have to at some point give up a degree. Well, not give up, but like you have to give your absolute trust in that person in a lot of different ways. And that's definitely. Do you do that? I mean, I'm like,
how do you get to the point where, okay, you've had the conversation with yourself, like,
it's experiences. That's all you can do. It's time and seeing how that person reacts under certain circumstances. There's nothing, there's no magic trick outside of just living, and you have to take risks and live life with that person. You look for red flags and see what happens. It's like, you know, all right, we're going to get an apartment now.
Do you think that this current climate of dating, people
I don't know what the climate is, but keep going.
You know what you heard. You know
I know what I've heard.
See.
I don't know what I've seen, but I know what I've heard.
Okay. So from my side of things, I feel like people have created like really tall brick walls of fear in dating.
Yeah.
To the point where people have now, a friend of mine said she is okay with being alone in general.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's okay.
Well, I think it is okay, but like that's
to the point where you don't want to socialize or anything.
I think that's a personal choice. It might not be best for most people, but if someone really comes to that conclusion, I'm fine. But
based off of bad experiences. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you come to that conclusion and you've had all types of experiences, cool. But if you are basing your decision off of all bad experiences, that's a problem to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I mean,
but I think this climate, I think everyone is so scared to be vulnerable. I think they're afraid to be honest. I think they're also afraid of what the other person may say or do or be like.
Why is that? Why is that fear present? Because
of social media.
Yeah, and I didn't grow up with
everything on social media is fake.
Yeah, I didn't grow up with that.
All of the pictures are edited. I don't really look like this. I look better in person.
Yeah, I'm actually 6 feet tall, so.
Now that's a damn lie.
I'm actually 6 feet tall.
That's a damn.
I'm 6 feet taller, and I'm about 5 shades darker, just so you know. So,
baby, yeah. He is shorter than me.
Right. So.
But I feel like this current climate, there are so many people who are okay with the lie that they've created, and are afraid to show people the truth outside of the phone.
It's hard for me to understand, and I get it objectively, but because I didn't grow up under social media, and I generally
what y'all had the can and the string. back in the day?
You would have to actually ask a person for their phone number and call them and talk to them on the phone.
Did they chisel it into the
and you would
rock,
try to have
and
an
then you-
actual conversation. I remember in middle school, because I'm clearly we're both conversational people at this point, but I remember writing out notes for what I was going to say on the phone. She gave me the phone number and I didn't know what to say, so I had a whole list of things to say, like almost like a speaking program, because I was terrified. I was terrified, but I was a kid. I didn't know. I didn't want to like have a bad conversation. I was like, oh, I get to call her and talk to her. Like, what are you doing? And then you don't want to be like, so.
Right.
So.
That's the most awkward thing.
So then I'd have some, but my script was just as awful. It was like, so
What's your favorite color?
How do you feel about like, you know what I mean?
Dinosaur
How
eggs.
about that dang Bill Clinton? Like, like, you know what I'm saying? But I don't.
You know what I was fearful of?
No.
Okay. I was fearful of.
For me, it was all just embarrassment. That was my fears. It was just embarrassment. But go ahead.
I was fearful of sex and intimacy.
Sure, but that's reasonable.
Yes, like early. Like
that's reasonable.
Boys were always like, hey, you know, and I'm like, what? Oh my God.
But that's
like,
a reasonable fear, especially for a girl.
First? Like, oh my God, like I still have baby's breath. I don't understand.
No, but I think that's reasonable for a girl. Like, you know, I think that's perfectly reasonable.
Because I think when you grow up, like a lot of people associate having a crush or liking someone with immediately, bam, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am.
Well, what age? I don't know.
Well, when I was a kid, yes, that's what it was.
I don't know. I don't know anything about that, but yeah.
Right, because you was in the Catholic Church, you know, saying your Hail Marys and being perfect.
No, far from perfect. I've always been kind of a perv, to be honest. But
oh my God, you didn't hear that.
No, you did.
You didn't hear that.
Again, I don't have any problems.
Like, oh my God.
But I didn't actually, you know.
This man just said it was a pervert.
Yeah, but I didn't actually start engaging in really in any real activity until I was like 16. So, you know, it that was. I mean, people talked about things, but we didn't have any idea what we were talking about. I didn't know where anything was biologically and like physically in space until I had an actual real girlfriend. Like I
he
had
was
no.
Like, is that your?
Wait,
vagine?
what? That's where?
That's your vagina.
Yeah, like I thought it was where your belly button is. Like, like make no sense. So, you know, it took a long time.
I think love and fear go hand in hand. I think you can't truly be in love,
which is such an interesting paradox.
Yes.
You know? Like you would think that they would like you would imagine that like, oh, love clears out all the fear and love conquers fear.
That's the fairy tale that Hollywood would have you believe. But
no,
let me tell you something. You know you in a real marriage.
Because the more you're invested in something, the more you have to lose.
Yes.
So
yes,
and if it's something that you really value,
say it again for the people in the back.
If it's something you really value, it's absolutely natural to have a fear of that, and then it just becomes a matter of how you deal with that fear. And that's for me when I bring in Mike Tyson, who has the perfect approach to fear, in my opinion, is he uses it as energy and he redirects it elsewhere into something else, and that's all you can do. You know,
I find it funny that. For me, I am able to conquer fear and love when it comes to like relationships, but I'm not able to conquer fear in life.
Yeah, that's an interesting. That's weird because. So we could talk about real quick because I know this isn't about specifically romance, but like it's interesting you say that. I actually think that's a really pithy point. Like so.
A pithy.
Yeah.
What the hell is a pithy?
Never mind.
You can't just be throwing words.
I mean, I'll
there.
Google it if you want me to give you
pithy.
a textbook.
This man just said pithy. You call me pissy? Is that what you call me? The hell? Pithy. That is a pithy point. I think
concise and forcefully expressive.
So why can't you just say that? Why
that's more words.
So you have a fear of being down to earth.
No. Oh no! I don't even know what I was going to say. Exactly. God damn it! Wait. I
am easier. I can conquer a fear in love easier than I can conquer a fear in life.
So, like, it is really interesting that you say that because, you know, okay, you have a fear of dancing, but there's nothing.
Why do you keep doing this to me?
But you have nothing to lose there. It's
my
not like
dignity.
But no, that is a false. You've created a false space where
No
no
one's
one is
gonna
even
love
studying
me.
your dignity. No one's like expecting you to be, you know, Paula Abdul or Janet Jackson.
First of all, Paula, her knees is weak. I would not want to be.
I'm done with the show. Like, you should have way more. It's more rational to be afraid of losing your significant other than sucking at dance. Like, that's all.
I mean, I'm very terrified of losing my significant other. I think.
Like daily, you're thinking about like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, or
I actually used to all the time.
Really?
Because Ishmael is the epitome of a black man. The type that.
Oh, you mean hate. When you say lose, like, okay, I didn't understand what you were saying. Like, he's not just gonna walk away, but yeah, all right.
No, he would never. I'd slash his tires.
Well, hopefully he'll make enough money to get new tires. You missed that.
try to leave me. Try to leave me. But seriously, try to.
Yeah.
Ishmael.
Yeah.
Somebody tag him.
She'll blame it on the cops.
No, officer, I don't know where his black ass went. He tied up in the basement. That's where he is.
Yeah. So fear. It goes hand in hand with love. And you wouldn't expect that, but it actually is.
So how do you know if you really love someone?
If you don't have, like, I'm actually, it's funny. I have is Boleto, Vagetto in my head.
Vagetto.
Yeah.
That sounds spicy.
Because he very much is spicy. But he and I are alike in that we really don't accept fear. Like, nah, get out of here with that. But I think if we're honest with ourselves, if there's anything that you love, there's a little bit of a seed of potential fear that could take place because you don't want to be separated from something that you care about.
Right.
From my motorcycle being totally materialistic to my kids. I want them to be here for as long as I'm here. And it's natural to be like, oh shit, I don't want this to go wrong.
Right.
And then you just have to manage that.
And something that I want my generation to hear, and any generation, honestly, is that it is normal to feel that fear. It is normal to feel afraid of losing something or with losing whatever's going on in your life. Like, people, there is this misconception that everything is supposed to be perfect and you're not supposed to feel any negativity. People are addicted to the dopamine and the what is it, pitocin, and all those things that go on in your mind when you're happy.
Heroes.
It is normal to not feel that. It's normal to be sad and to mourn and to be fearful of things.
People who I'm trying to say this the exact right way.
Okay.
People who behave with courage are facing their fears. That's the bottom line. People think that the hero is fearless.
Absolutely not.
The hero isn't fearless. He's facing his fears and conquering it. So the feeling is fine, but you got to conquer it. That's it.
Let me tell you something. I was doing laundry in my basement one day.
Crickets, Ned.
And there was a giant spider near the steps, and my babies were at the top of them steps.
And you said, "Get him, Yara!"
And I said,
"Get that
nigga!" I sat there for about 10 minutes waiting for his spider ass to move. But because of love.
Wait.
But because of love, I walked past that spider.
Last question. Last part of this conversation. Okay, I'm going to give you a scenario.
Okay. My husband came and killed the spider.
No, you and Yara are home alone.
Okay.
She is in her bedroom.
Okay.
Sleeping soundly in the crib.
All right.
And you see on the little gate of the crib,
a
spider with this big.
Okay.
Going like this.
Oh, God.
Slowly making its way to Yara. What do you do?
I'm going to contemplate for a little while.
How long? How long are you going to contemplate? 10 seconds? 30 seconds?
It depends. If I'm throwing up, then you got to wait till I'm done throwing up. After that, I am going to turn on every light. I will find the biggest thing in my grasp and smack the out of that spider and get my baby. But I cannot guarantee that it's going to be quick because it's going to be a lot
right
of.
Here. Look. It's here. What are you doing?
I'm going to smash.
You've got to conquer your fear, Naj.
I'm the hero. I'm going to conquer my fear.
Well,
but time is relative. Remember that.
Things slow down when you're scared. That 30 seconds was actually a nanosecond. It just fell.
Right. Should be alive. The spider won't. You know.
Cheers to conquering fears. That rhymed and it wasn't intentional.
Oh my God, you're so great.
Yeah, right.
So,
thank you.
Let's leave on a note. JVSradio.com is now WJVS Radio. You can download the app at the App Store for Android and for iPhone. There are several shows. DJ Tim Dog. We've got other shows throughout the week. You can go on the website at JVSradio.com to find out when your favorite people will be on live. We are on Wednesdays at 8:30 p.m. And what else? You can also catch NadjNJea at NadjNJea on Facebook on Wednesdays at 7. We go live and we talk about everything Wilmington. So we love you guys for watching and supporting, and make sure you download the app.
Have no fear. NadjNJea are here.
You're disgusting. I'm bothered. I'm offended by that.
End it.
What? In what?
Push finish.
Bye, guys. I love you. Production! Get in here. Get in here, stat. Come on. The show is over. Yeah, I said goodbye. Love Notes with NadjNJea. Oh, God.
The sky's light blue with white clouds, and there's a little breeze passing through, and the wind's just strong enough to raise the hair up on your neck, the hair up on your neck, raise the hair up on your neck, and I guess